Hello again. Hello again. Fix. I apologize. I'm growing my beard out. Um, I feel like a wise wizard when I have a beard, you know? Okay, so where do I start? What's going on with me? Um, I think I went on vacation for 2 weeks, and then I had part of that 2 weeks and maybe a week after, I was just really distraught. Yet, I think this might be like my second best month of the year. So like completely mentally checked out and emotionally checked out and wasn't trying and somehow God provides, you know? But also God gave me the time and space to figure things out. So thanks for that. You know? Whether it's me or God or both. Um, so I had like a super busy I got off work at 2. So like I made between yesterday and today I made a week's worth of money. I don't have to work the rest of the week if I don't want to. But I'm making up for. And also, I want to make money to do stuff. I have to buy a house and I have to do other things. Um, I feel like my energy's back. Like the world is showing me that I'm doing right. So uh, either figured something out or I keep seeing 777 still. Um, I went to a spiritual mastermind last night. So with my spiritual brother, I brought one of my friends who's spiritual on their own spiritual path, and I'm just like initially just observing because like I said, spiritual has as there's as many grifters in the spiritual community as there are religions, and I want to be careful who I share my energy with and who I mean, I want to see what they're doing and they said, oh, we're gonna go around the room and share things, and then we'll all like give the person energy, and then say nice things to them, I guess, affirmations or downloads. Ugh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting seeing how people just regurgitate things that they learn, and you know, I'm trying to with a little piece of information from what everybody says. I'm overwhelmed, and there's a lot of people in the room, and I'm trying to figure out who's who and what's what, and who's fucking lying. You know, who's here to augment themselves, and who's here because they looking for a community. And then the idea is that let me see what people do so that I know what is right and wrong. Because I don't know what happens at a spiritual mastermind. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or what these people are doing. I think it would be cool for everybody to come do this, just because to me it feels like what church was supposed to be. Church isn't just sitting there falling asleep, listening to like a rock song for an hour, and then listen to some guy regurgitate some, like we can do the reading at home. I don't need you to read the book for me. I can read. Um, but like the sharing connection, I guess that happens after church when you go eat and um, yell at your wait staff or whatever. But it felt like okay, this is a different version of church. Whether that's good or bad, we'll see. So like people sharing personal stories or something they need help with, or you know what I mean. And I'm my arms weren't folded, but I'm sure I had that vibe. I don't know if I know these people. I know one of them, two of them. So what's interesting? I heard this lady is going through a divorce. She's spiritually awake. Her husband is not. Ex-husband, separated, whatever. They have kids, and she's going to all these spiritual seminars and listening to gurus and all this stuff. She's working on herself, and she talked about how she was at like the spiritual like thing in Malibu, and she was talking about how the people in front of her were too close to her and she was feeling claustrophobic. And then she's like, I realized that they're a mirror. They're mirroring something that I feel I'm doing to myself. So she says she went inside herself and said, where am I not giving myself space? And she said she went inside and then like worked something out, and then those people fucked off and moved. And I was like, if I get nothing out of this, that was something. She talked about how she called her oldest daughter and the daughter didn't pick up and she started panicking. And she's like, oh, I went inside and I mirrored and was like, what is this feeling? And then figured out that she needed her kids to validate that she's important and she's not doing that for herself. And I was like, it's a good thing she's single because I'm picking up what you're putting down, lady. Um, I'm kidding, of course. I don't remember her name or anything, but I was like, that's a hard thing to do, to alchemize, and especially like as a this lady's past middle age, um, and then um, there's this idea in the collective consciousness that um, partners or pairs of the same soul are awakening at different times. One awakes and then the other sees the path. Um, and all the things that I've absorbed and learned, I'm trying to see what these people know and what they're regurgitating, what they hold on to, how they live their lives, to just ascertain, to learn and to ascertain like where I'm at and see what's going on. And then this one guy gave me a book and he signed it. He had the books there, and it was about how energy healing saved his life. And I talked about how people in the spiritual community try to exchange money for my healing, and I was like, I know that's a red flag. And he jumped onto that and he said, hold on to your discernment. And then the feeling I got is that he felt like he was being called out because I think he does energy healing. So his book is about how energy healing saved his life. That therapy didn't work, this didn't work, that didn't work. Now, here's my problem with it. From what I know and what I've learned and what I understand in my own perspective, my universe works how I want it, or how I perceive it. Your universe might work different. There's a placebo effect. The same reason you go to church and feel like Jesus healed you, or you know what I mean, you believe a placebo cured your cancer. There's a power of suggestion. So it may be that that is a thing. Now, what I have a problem with spiritually, energetically, and after I spoke, everybody puts their hands and wants to send, like, we're gonna Reiki send you energy, and I said, don't do that right away. And they're like, oh, do you have a problem with receiving? I'm like, well, yes, I do, but I don't want to tell them like it's a bullshit thing. Like Reiki's not that old. It was invented in this mountain that is known to be cursed. It has all the bad spirits in Japan. Did you know that? So the idea is that you're exchanging your sovereignty, spiritual energy, for temporary pain relief. And I don't believe that anything exists outside of me to heal me. I'm connected directly to God. I don't need your fucking energy. I don't know who you are or what you're bringing with you. Don't pray for me. Don't nothing. I'm good. And it's not like a matter of being closed off, but like I know that from experience that when you think God is outside of yourself or you think the cure is outside of yourself, you're admitting that you're sick. You're admitting that you're powerless. You're not going to fix shit like that. So you have to keep going to the Reiki, to the fucking church, to the spiritual meeting, to the whatever. So I don't believe in that. And then what I've come to learn from spiritual practice and stuff, a lot of these things they're soul traps. It's to it's to make you feel like you did it without getting there. So it's like you'll get 90% of the way and then boop. You know what I mean? There'll be these spiritual gurus who are they're so profound, and you feel their energy, and it feels so good, and they say the most wise thing, and then they're having like cocaine orgies. Like something's off. They'll get you 90% of the way, but that last 10% is where the magic happens. That's when you become enlightened. When you don't need a guru anymore. You are the guru. The guru. So I had to do it. Sorry. Uh, so these people are all, they all say very nice things after you talk, after you share. It's like, wow, you're so powerful and light and blah blah, like just buzzwords, and it's like really cringy to me. It's hard to feel like that's a genuine thing because everything is a buzzword. It's like if someone didn't teach you that word, would you be using this language? And then I said, when it was my turn to speak, does one of our new people want to speak? It's like, no, don't call on me. I'm not a child. I spoke. And I was like, well, I'll just say why I'm here is I like followed synchronicity. I was looking for a spiritual community, and I found my spiritual brother, and I followed these signs, and then now I'm here. And once I said synchronicity, everybody that talked was like, oh, synchronicity. Everybody started jumping on the synchronicity bandwagon, which might be a good thing. Maybe that's my contribution. But when the guy who's leading the meeting initially talked, and he explained how the things were going to go, and then at the end we're going to do an om, 7 minutes of ohms, and then write like a prayer and put it in a prayer box that nobody sees. Like a lot of these things, like as soon as I hear rituals, I'm like, no, no, there's no rituals here. So like they're doing ohms, and I'm just breathing in and out. Om, like for 7 minutes is a fucking long time to do that. What are we doing? Um, and then also like for me to talk and then just sit there and thank people for putting their palms in my face. Like, don't do that. I feel threatened. Want to fight? Um, I'm kidding, but it's just a weird ritual. I don't believe in rituals. I believe the healing comes from thinking, not from magic. Call me crazy, but that being said, like some of the women spoke, and then they would cry, and then one of them talked about our like she couldn't find a job, and then because she couldn't find a job, she was available for being there for her mother before her mother died, and her even sharing her story, other people were crying more than her. I was like, I wouldn't be handling it that well. Good for her. It was interesting to meet, people that are at least trying. You know, um, but the rich like banging a drum and doing the singing bowl and oming and this kind of shit. It's hard. It's hard for me. Like, show me what frequency we're making. Show me like the tone that we're making, and then show me on the chart where we are. Are we above? Are we at 440 hertz? Because then we're doing something bad. Are we at 432? Is this something good? Is it 528? Are we healing ourselves? Are we doing it like just making noise and copying what other people did? There's a reason these spiritual practices became a thing, but the knowledge as to what created is gone. People copying rather than finding is a problem. Like in church, I remember I went to like a big church with a friend, and at the end they pass out these little like it's corn syrup with a little wafer, and they're like, eat my body, drink my blood. It's like, what the fuck did you just say? And then you hear all these people like try and peel the fucking, and I'm looking around like, what the fuck are you people doing? What the effing fuck is this? Who told you to do that? Jesus said in the book. It's like, okay, Jesus said 2,000 years ago in Aramaic that was first written down in Greek to eat his fucking flesh and drink his blood. Or the people that were doing that practice were worshiping Dionysus. It was a cult. in ancient Greece that they copied. So if your intention is to worship Jesus, you're actually worshiping Dionysus by doing what Dionysus said, just because someone put Jesus in front of it. Rituals. No, no, I'm not doing it. That being said, it's interesting to see what people do, how they are exchanging. I think also doing this is a waste of time. By talking to each other, we're exchanging energy. By being near each other, we're exchanging energy. This is Care Bear fucking Harry Potter bullshit. Doesn't I mean doesn't make any sense to me. Like it should be a measurable thing with like equipment. I have like an EMF reader. Can I bring it and then put it in front of me and then measure the radiation coming out of your fucking hands towards me? And even then, is it good radiation or bad? If it's measurable. Um, that being said, I've been doing something right. Work is going super well. I don't feel overwhelmed by anything. I feel like everything's going super smooth. Like the jobs are going well. It's the floodgates are open. I'm doing a lot of work. I don't feel like confused or upset about anything. I feel good, and like the world is reflecting that. And I love that I had the ability to do these journals and then like talk myself out of a tough spot, like a self-imposed one. It was completely self-imposed, um, as all things are. We decide to take something seriously, or decide to put a value on something, and then get upset when we don't get it, or you know. But that's the important thing of having like a real spiritual community is and my I have my close spiritual friends that I talk to and we talk these things over, and I'm like, I think I discovered this, I didn't even discover that, and then I journal, and then if they watch my journals, we're on the journey together, figuring things out, making our lives better, improving each other's lives. As my vibration increases, the people in my circle, their vibration increases. As theirs increase, mine increases. We're sharing knowledge, we're sharing the ability to love ourselves and others. And all love starts with self love. All love starts with self love. Um, Now, the other night, not last night, the night before, I had a dream that I met a girl. And it was brief. And then I was talking to the girl's father, and I was like, what was her name? And he's like, it's Hehen, Hehen. And I was like, that's a fucking stupid name. Like, what happens if there's an emergency? You're like out of breath. If you have asthma, you can't even call her. Hehen, Hehen, watch out, there's a car about to, like, is it just Heh? Hey, Heh, for short? This is a stupid fucking name. And then I woke up and I remembered the name. I was like, God forbid this fucking means something in Latin. I type it in Google Translate, it means hell. So I have the dream of a fucking siren taking me to hell. I have a dream of a name of a person named Hell, woman. I'm sure that's not an accident. Um, what are the fucking odds of that? Second dream I've had in Latin. Um, I don't remember what happened in the dream. I don't remember what I was doing or who the people were or why or whatever, but I remembered the name. I was like, this is a fucking stupid name. It's like my hate recorder was on. Um, so it got me thinking, like, okay, so hell, like frame of reference. What have I been going through? I've been going through hell. So in my spiritual awakening, to me, I think that we are born in hell. We are in hell until we awaken. And awakening doesn't mean that immediately everything's better. It doesn't mean that you see ghosts or demons and angels. It does not mean that. It means that you become conscious. It's your second birth. It's your rebirth. It's the concept of being born again, like baptized. It's a spiritual thing that happens with you realizing that you have unconscious cycles. So like this lady talking about how she was mirroring. She talked about how when people are upset at her, she's like, "Oh, they're using me as a mirror to see about themselves. So I'm just gonna hold space. I'm not gonna take it personally." I was like, "Fuck, this lady's good. She's right." Like while you're unconscious, you're so sure that person's at fault. That person did that to me. That person, and you hold on to that, and you're the one in hell. You're creating that hell vibration to yourself. But the idea is that you're doing that to yourself so that you wake up. You're going through a cycle of hell over and over and over again. And then when you break that, or when you wake up from it, or just become aware of it, that's when it starts. That's when you start the climb to heaven. So heaven and hell are here. Just depends on how you're, just, it depends on your vibration. Depends on how aware you are. Depends on how conscious you are. And the less you are in your feelings, the less you're in hell. The less you're in your body. So I was thinking of like the people that I've known and met that are, in my opinion, living in hell. And my attempts at trying to help or wake them up or whatever, I've spent a lot of my life doing that. And I realized that if it's hell, it's a punishment. And they have to finish out their sentence. And when they break free from their self-imposed chains, um, then we are, once we're both in heaven, we can be friends and hang out and help each other and stuff like this. But until such time, I feel like every time I'm with people that are very unconscious, like they're very upset about political stuff, or they're very upset about how other people treat them in life. Like I talked about how there was a patient of Jung who said, "Why is everybody so mean to me?" And he said, "Why are you so mean to everybody?" And she flipped out at him and, "Fuck you, fuck you." And he said, and he knew she'd come back in a year once she figured it out. That's how it goes. Like when someone makes us aware of our mirror, we hate them because we're triggered. That's what triggering is. Triggering is showing you something in you, not in the other person. So I realized after being triggered by how people treated me, or how I reacted to something that I would then regret. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Then I had to go, it always starts from something deep, long time ago that you've been unconsciously recreating. So, for instance, I was thinking about the fight I got in Vegas. So, like, I could see that the guy was going to be a liability. I could see that he's with a group of guys. Maybe they were on a bachelor party or something. Instead of confronting the guy when he started becoming too rowdy, I could have befriended those people. I could have noticed the problem and then alchemized it. But there's something in me that feels like, once my guard is up, like my vibration is that. And then what happens is you attract it. I'm making it happen. And I've made it happen so many times before realizing, oh, I'm doing it. I'm creating this in my reality. And we all do that. That's the purpose of journal. That's the purpose of going in and talking to your subconscious and figuring things out. So I had a story I wanted to talk about, but it's like it's too personal and too detailed. But um, a long time ago, I was dating someone who um, self-sabotaged our relationship, and she did it over and over again. And she confided in me that she didn't feel good enough for me, and she made sure that was true. she made sure she had self-esteem and abandonment and a whole slew of issues that she hadn't dealt with and projected them on me. So then I became the reason she feels those ways because she hasn't figured it out yet. Like that exists. I can't bring that out in someone. It has to be there. And then that's what all relationships are, a mirror. What's happening inside me, I cannot see. I have to notice what I'm doing to other people, how I'm reacting to other people to know what's happening inside of me. And it takes a lot of, that's a high level of consciousness because you're not an animal anymore. Animals reactionary. And getting yourself out of being in a reactionary state is hard. There's probably so many things. There's so many things that traumatize us that we're not even aware of, and it's a hard thing to do. But it's our personal responsibility. It's for our own benefit. It's not for external validation. It's not, and no one's going to hand you like a certificate or an award. But the results are reward enough. The results are reward enough. Now, I'm not sure where things are going as far as my spiritual path. But like on the way here, I saw 777 three times, and so I know that I'm on the cusp of a big upgrade or something, and also life is going so well. Like I know that I've something's happening. I've been feeling it. That's why I've been journaling so much, and I'm gonna go tomorrow to meet a guy. I'm not sure I want to say he's like a famous self-help type, spiritual guru type person, Dr. Mama. So there's like 20 people meeting at a small gallery, the same gallery I was at, and he's going to be there. And I've always, to be honest with you, always been hesitant when I see YouTube tell me to watch this stuff. I say not interested, not interested. Stop showing me this fucking guy because I feel like he's regurgitating the same source information I'm reading. Neville Goddard, Alan Watts, Carl Jung. He's saying the same stuff that I know, but he's selling something. Yeah, I have a hard time believing people do that for the right reasons. Call me skeptical. Uh, but I want to go see in person. Let me see the vibe. Let me see how you show me. Show me, bro. You can get someone's vibe in person and suss it out. And then there's like the same art gallery. There's on Friday. There's a open house where the guy talks about how his art is inspired by peace and unity in the world and all this stuff, and that's why he's hosts these spiritual events and stuff like this. But again, because there's a financial incentive, like the meetings are free, but like we're surrounded by his art. There's a lot of eyes. Also, I don't like that. It's like, why is there always one eye, sir? What are you saying? Um, so I mean I do believe that when you do things right spiritually, financial incentives come naturally. So I know that if like I did a couple of things recently that were selfless and tried to help people that were in need, and I have no doubt that's why all of a sudden I got upgraded. Like I'm getting it back, and I think if I tell you specifically what the things are, it cheapens the act, and also it's like I'm just doing what everyone should be doing. You know what I mean? I have the ability to help, so I'm gonna try. I'll tell you one thing is like there's a guy stuck in the fast lane on the freeway in rush hour traffic, and it looked like he was struggling. I stopped. It's like, do you need a jump or something? How can I help? He said he got in an accident, and the car won't go into gear. I was like, did he turn it off and off? And he's like, yeah, it's CHP is on the way and whatever. He's like, thanks for stopping. I was like, okay, good luck. I think if he got out of the fucking car, I could have fixed it. But also, BMWs fucking suck. BMWs fucking suck. I had an argument with someone about that. I was like, I talked to a tow truck driver. He said if he tows 20 cars in a day, 18 are BMWs. And someone was like, if news of that got out, I'm like, the news is out. How do I know it? Um, anyways, doesn't matter. Um, so, where things go from here, I'm going to be. So, I paid attention to see if there was any negative signs. If I went to this thing, I didn't see any negative signs. I've seen some sporadically over the last couple of days while I was thinking of doing something. I was like, okay, that's a sign not to do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Okay, okay. But I want to be available for helping people who need me, people who want help, people who hold space. You know, how do I do that? How do I hold space for people? Um, there's a lot of people that are at the brink of a meltdown, and those are probably the people that I can help the most. People that are in unconscious cycles are a ways away from seeing or believing or understanding the type of help that I could share, because it's not me doing anything. It's me telling someone how to become their own savior, how to decipher where's my energy leaking, what thoughts are poisoning me, how do I take control of my life rather than be a passenger, be the driver. I think a lot of people aren't ready for that probably, and that's perhaps why the world is getting so ugly. Is things are getting, it's like a pressure cooker. Eventually, people will hit individually. It's happening. I see like pockets of it happening where people they have enough, they hit a wall, and then they become conscious. And that's why even though like the rituals and the people possibly trying to sell their services and stuff like this is like, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'll take what resonates, I'll leave what doesn't, and perhaps sharing my perspective, knowledge, whatever enriches other people. Perhaps the things that like that lady talking about feeling uncomfortable and then mirroring it. Fuck, that's something I need to be doing. It's something everybody needs to be doing. But yeah, as far as that dream, it's just interesting that the concept of hell or the abyss is coming up. I feel like I feel like I was in it. I feel like I fell back into it. I feel like I'm out again. And life is so much easier when you're out. Um, what hell feels like is probably what every person on this planet feels like: lost. I don't know what's coming around the corner, don't know where I'm going, don't know where I've been, don't know who's on my side, who's against me. It all looks the same. It's not a it's not pleasant. But where I'm at, like, even though I felt emotionally compromised for a little bit, I never was worried about my finances. I knew that I was being given time to figure something out. And once I figured it out, I think the last journal I made about Rumi, like these 3 or 4 quotes from Rumi, um, made me feel how I knew I should feel. Like God has a handle of everything. There's literally nothing I could ever worry about. There's nobody better to have a hold on things. And I guess when you're suffering or when you're like focused on something, you don't see the big picture, and then that's why we suffer. Um, and I think in an attempt to help other people out of their suffering, I go into it with them. I empathize so much that I feel exactly how they feel. Like it's probably just with certain people, but um, I had the feeling that even though it is hell, it is the abyss, that I have found my way out, and I know that I know the way. And I felt like, okay, if someone sees me do that, then they can follow the path. Like when I was little, if I get stuck on a video game, um, but I watched someone beat it, I would be able to beat it right away once I knew it was doable. And then, until I got used to, I'm going to be the one who shows other people how to do it. Um, I had to build that confidence. Interesting thing. Um, I have a small update. I don't know how much I want to share, but there was that girl that initially wanted to date, but she was talking to me about her ex and she wasn't over it. And I was saying that if you want to be friends, I'm cool with it. No, this isn't the girl that lives close to me. It's a different one. So she was on vacation and got back and has been texting me, and I was, and she's the one that went to spiritual classes and stuff. So she tells me that she came back early from her vacation to sign a prenup with her ex. She said they broke up a year ago, but and then he moved on right away, and she hasn't dated anyone since, and he's really distraught and really confused, and she was crying on the phone, and I was like, look, if like I'm not looking to date anybody right now. I don't think you're in a place to date anybody right now, but if we can talk as friends, I can help you out of this. Like I've been through exactly like what you're thinking and feeling about. Like I guess the ex has been used for money, so he's afraid of losing his money, and then she's okay with getting less and less of her needs met just to make this relationship work. Obviously, it's not going to work, but that's not for me to tell her. It's for her to find out. And I'm not saying this because of I'm the one. I'm not thinking about that at all. I think that uh, my job is to raise and hold my vibration, help other people along the way, and God will send in the right thing. That's what I think. But in the meantime, this woman is like, we're complete strangers. We've never met in life. She cried like 3 or 4 times on the phone. And obviously, my heart goes out to her. And I know that she has the answers she needs. And it's probably just a matter of talking to someone who's like, rather like her friends are like, fuck him, he's a narcissist, he's this, he's that. It's like, it's not helpful. She needs to shift in her perspective, and she needs support. She probably needs a therapist. But also, like, what was the point of me fucking doing all this shit and learning all this shit if I'm not collecting money. I'm just a person. I'll tell you what I know, and if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, keep doing what you're doing. You know. But she was saying like, I know we met for a reason or we matched for a reason and all this stuff, and I was like, maybe. Guess we'll see. Um, but yeah, like I like you don't want to get involved emotionally with someone who's going through something so deep. But I think that she's suffering. And what is the point of God putting people in my path that are suffering if I don't try to help? And I've failed so many times. But with women who are my friends, I don't fail. Women I date, I fail. There's just a certain dynamic where I become, rather than become like a team, I become the opposition. I'm looked at as I'm the problem and I'm the reason for the pain rather than I'm just triggering or I'm just the face of it because you're facing it yourself. You're facing your own demons. And my gray hair, I guess, attracts a lot of women with daddy issues. You know? So, um, I had an experience when I was younger where I, for a very long time, was trying to help someone who had low self esteem and who was very hurt. And the logical side of the brain said, don't do this because this is a losing battle. And I still was like, how do you let someone suffer? But after losing years of my life trying to help someone up, it's like financially or emotionally or like anything that you can think of, I tried. And I realized that they're not a victim. They want to pretend they're a victim to stay where they're at, to validate their feelings. And this girl's approaching, she's middle aged now. She wanted nothing more than to be a mother. And now she's lost all hope. And she's like, I don't know. Last time we talked was a long time ago, but she was like, I don't know if I want that now. And frankly, she shouldn't do it because our kids will have her issues. Um, it sucks that it takes a long time for people to wake up because you need enough history and enough pain to alchemize. And while you're young and you're busy trying to make money and show off and all this and look a certain way and all this other bullshit, and there's so much more distraction now, it takes a long time, especially for women. It's like by the time they actually get there, it's probably too late for kids. So what happens is they settle, get into a relationship that's probably not healthy, to have a certain lifestyle and then have the kids and then pass their demons on to the kids and then it becomes a problem for the next generation. It's hard work. And like thankfully I have time as a man. Like Clint Eastwood or Robert De Niro was like 78 years old. I could still have kids if I wanted. Um, but I feel like the things that I'm going through in my life now are preparing me to be a better husband, a better father than I would have been had I not experienced them because I know what to do to protect my family, what to do to protect my kids, and what I needed to do to protect myself. Self love is the first thing before those other ones. And I was dishonoring myself and I was betraying myself. Um, in my efforts to help other people, I shouldn't lose who I am or lose my path because I'm here for a big thing, I think. And if I lose my path and if I lose what makes me me, if I lose what makes me special and different, just another mouth to feed, you know? I want to make a difference on this planet while I'm here. That's why I take my self development seriously, and I hope that it pays off. Um, is that it? Um, I guess so. I love having a beard. It sucks that women don't get this unless they're Persian and they have it. Feels nice. I miss when my hair was this short, but the whole thing, fun to rub. Um, what else is happening? I guess that's it. I don't know. Um, I'm going to suss out this Dr. thing. Um, I am back in shape mostly. Have like my muscles are filling out again, and I have abs still. So everything's going well. Everything's going really well. I am on the right track. So I'll keep going. I believe that now that I'm plugged into maybe a spiritual community, maybe I will find more like minded people, even if sprinkled among them are people not to my liking. And I'm going to read this dude's book, tell you why I think it's bullshit. He's a really nice guy, but yeah, I don't think energy healing is the thing. I think it's consciousness is the answer to everything. If you, his daughter's a Jungian psychologist actually, so maybe he already did that, and then he finds another thing. I don't know. I'll read the book. Reserve judgment. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. I'm still following the science, so it'll be interesting to see where this road takes me. I hear ringing. Um, yeah, okay, that's it. I will see you probably in a day or two after I have another spiritual like community meeting, and then I'll analyze that as we go. And I hope the trajectory I'm on stays. I don't want to deviate from this path because I could woo away. Like things are falling into place. And unless I fuck it up, it should always be this easy. Like I should have plenty of work. I should be done by 2. I should be able to go to the gym and play with my cars and do whatever else I want. Um, I really work against myself sometimes. So with that, I will bid you adieu, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.